Good morning, everyone. Happy Wonder Wednesday. Today is the day for you to take some time to sit down, take some time for yourself, and to wonder what life would be like if you looked at it from a different perspective. You opened yourself up to the possibilities and the opportunities that are out there. If you listened to your soul, if you listened to the advice and the expertise of other people who you are actually searching for, those people who have the information and the education that you are looking for, so you can make those great decisions for your life and create that health and happy lifestyle that you have been dreaming of for many years. So we want you to take this time to wonder about life, about your health, and how that can be up-leveled. So today you may say to me, I feel good. What if you could feel great? That's what we want. That's what we're going for, that healthy, happy, amazing, vibrant lifestyle. So today I'm really excited to talk to my new friend, Sandie. Sandie Gascon is an integrative healing practitioner and the author of the book, Heal Yourself. Through her own experiences healing herself from chronic illness, she's developed a holistic healing program. And she's helped guide thousands of people from over 25 countries on their own natural healing journey. So Sandie, welcome to the Wonder Series.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited for our conversation today.
Me too. So this is who Sandie is on paper. And obviously these are things that you have done. Who are you? Who is Sandie to her soul? And how did you get to this place?
So Sandie definitely is a mom. That's a calling that I've had for such a long time. And I didn't think I was ever going to be a mom because of my health issues. So that's definitely just, I love everything about raising my little boy. I'm an equestrian. I love to ride. That just fuels my soul, fuels my passion, and really my purpose. And what I was called to do, what my soul called me to do, was to come here to teach people how to heal naturally. I definitely know that. And it's amazing what you said. It's all about changing your perspective, because for me, I grew up and everyone around me had health issues. So I thought it was normal. I thought it was okay. And I really, through what I went through, really changed my perspective to see, hey, we don't have to be sick. We can change our perspective and really step into that optimal health, that optimal creativity, that optimal vibration. But it does require a massive change in our perspective.
I think you're right when it comes to, looking at our health around us. And I know I see this with more older people now. They're kind of comparing their health issues. It's like they have a list of them that they check off. Oh, yep, I've got this, and I've got this, and I've got this. And it's almost like a badge of honor.
Yeah. How many meds are you on? Oh, right. I've got 20.
And my question to them always is, well, how are you feeling? All right. I'm all right. All right to me is not living.
No, it's existing. Most people are just existing.
That doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me.
No, it really doesn't. And there was a place where I thought that was so normal, because I started having migraines when I was 7. And at 13, I started with depression and insomnia. And that was just normal. My mom had it. My sister had it. My aunt had it. Like everybody in my family had some type of health issue. My dad had joint issues. So when my joints started hurting, oh, well, it's just what you have in your family. And then at 19 came a bipolar depression diagnosis and medications. And again, it was normal. Feeling terrible was just normalized. And it was going on this medication and having some really severe side effects and realizing that I wanted to get off of it and I couldn't get off of it. That made me start questioning that this is not what we're meant to be like. We're not meant to be zombies. We're not meant to be dependent on these medications. And that kind of was a little bit of a shift. It wasn't a huge shift, but then I kept going on with my life and ended up getting a really severe food poisoning. And from there, a lupus diagnosis, and things started to fall together. And that's where the soul's journey starts to take over. And you do have a choice. Do you stay where you are, or when these opportunities and these shifts start coming to you, do you follow? Do you listen? And I actually had a really big shift listening to a podcast I have a degree in biomedicine. And when I was diagnosed with lupus, I started to really just focus on diet. And I actually went raw vegan. And it was not sustainable. And I was not feeling better. And when I was listening to this podcast, I had this shift saying, we need to look at why. What is going on with the body that this is happening? And how can we use supplements and natural healing to change our biochemistry and to make changes? And I was still on the Effexor, which is the medication I was on at the time, and I wanted off of it. And I found amino acid therapy, and I was able to slowly wean off of that. I started to go from just working on my brain to working on my detox pathways and my gut, and using science and natural supplements and healing and herbs to start affecting changes in my body. And it just was one thing led to another, and I was able to get rid of the lupus diagnosis. My antibodies went down. I was able to go back to work because for a time I wasn't even able to work. I was so sick. And after that, I just kept knocking down one health issue after another until I ended up doing more harm than good. So with trial and error, you're guessing, right? You're always guessing. And I ended up developing interstitial cystitis. And that really led me to, okay, I need to start running tests. I need to test to see what the heck my body is saying versus guessing and throwing paint at the wall and it not sticking. So I ended up becoming certified as a health coach. And from there, I developed my own program. I started incorporating genetics and mindset work because there's so much of a mind, body, spirit connection needed. And then I wrote my book, Heal Yourself, which is the accumulation of everything that I've learned over the years and this program that I've developed.
What's amazing with all of that, it started when you were 7.
I know, it's crazy.
How does a 7-year-old have all of these challenges with biochemistry, with food, with all these allergies? And that to me is the biggest eye opener. Obviously, from there, all of the things kind of like, it was interesting, like as things kind of like started to get like the poop hit the fan. Exactly. With everything, that was really when you had this, your kind of aha, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
And so, but very often, as you say, we get to the point and we still go, we have that choice.
Right.
Do we stay the course, not feeling good?
Yeah.
Being on the meds. And I will say, medication has its place.
It definitely does. 100%. Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think that's always important to say, but at the same time, we kind of use it as a crutch.
We do. And it's definitely a very large industry that is really geared to keep people on the medications, right? It's not meant for you to get better and go off the medications. It keeps you on the medications. And it's recognizing, I definitely agree. There's a time and a place for medications. Not everybody's ready to change their lifestyle, change their diet, change everything that they're doing in their being. And so that is one way to really prevent things from going really badly. Mm-hmm. And there's also times with acute illnesses that, medication is needed. Like if you have pneumonia, you're going to reach for an antibiotic, not a natural supplement. Like there's definitely a time and a place, but we need to recognize that so much of our lifestyle and what we're eating and the toxins in the environment and the stress we put ourselves under because we're doing more than ever before. We also aren't being taught proper emotional coping and mindset training from a young age. So we're not handling things very well. And there's really a society geared to, if you have a symptom, here's a medication, let's turn it off, versus let's learn to grow from this. If you're depressed, let's allow that and see what's going on. What are you not expressing? What needs to come out? What is going on with your relationships that need to change? So there's so much more to healing and feeling better than just turning something off.
I agree. And I know I've had this conversation with my nephew every now and then, when he has something going on, he's like, just give me something to make it go away.
Yeah.
And like you say, if it's a toothache, that's one thing.
Right. Exactly. Go to the dentist.
They'll pull your tooth.
Yeah.
Or whatever, so there definitely is that. But I think you said a minute ago about, lifestyle and change. what I have seen, and I see this, and I'm sure you do too, people are ready to make those changes, or they're kind of hesitant. Like they want the result.
They want the result without the work.
Without the work.
Well,
and so what I really love about what you do is that there is a process and there is testing. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in my program, we do run these really amazing labs, and it's not like going to the doctor and the doctor runs the labs and they either say you have a disease or you don't have a disease. We're looking for healing opportunities. And more often than not, you're in that range somewhere in between optimal and disease. And we want to move you to optimal. So we run labs to work on every system of the body. The Heal Yourself program is incredibly holistic. We're going to work on the brain. We're going to work on the liver, the mitochondria, nutrient deficiencies. We're going to tackle hormones and adrenals. We're going to tackle the gut. We're going to tackle metals. So we're covering everything. And we see that in the test, and it's done in a specific order because we want to work with the body. We don't want to work against it. And so many times you go to a practitioner and they're like, oh, it's candida. Let's just kill candida. Or, oh, you've got issues with heavy metals. Let's just detox those. And usually the body's not ready for that. We want to rebuild it first. And we really want to support detox pathways. Our detox pathways are kind of left to the side where everybody's so focused on the gut. And if you start killing things and your body can't detoxify that, you're going to get really sick. So we work on rebuilding, rebalancing neurotransmitters, sex hormones, adrenals, supporting our mitochondria, repairing our detox pathways, and just addressing overall nutrient deficiencies before we go and tackle the gut and heavy metals. And it's really great because people can see their labs. They can see, oh, okay, there is an issue here. This is why I need this particular supplement. So it brings, it brings excitement. And I know that's a big thing for you.
That is a huge thing for me. With my background in nutrition, supplementation has always been, supplementing where you're not getting the nutrition in your food. So that I've always believed in. And not to just take a vitamin, just to take a vitamin.
Exactly.
I don't believe in that. And supplementation, there's so many on the market. I actually, and I use myself as a bit of a guinea pig sometimes. I saw somebody asked me about some medication by some doctor, and that I never heard of this supplement, not medication, supplement. So I thought, well, let me get it and see what it is and test it out. And my thought process with a lot of this, if you don't feel better after taking a supplement, stop taking it. It's not doing you any good.
Yeah.
So that's always what my thought.
With supplements, they don't often work that quickly. So there are some, like if we're really biohacking your brain and we're trying to shift your neurotransmitters, we should see an immediate response. But for most, and a big part of my program is just focusing on just rebuilding basic nutrients, which so many people are deficient in because the toxic burden in the environment is so high and the nutrient level in our food is so low. It's not what it was 100 years ago. So when it comes to a lot of supplements, it really depends on what you're taking. Like if it's something like zinc, well, it's really good to test what are your copper zinc levels, what ratio of copper zinc do you need, but this is something you're going to be on long term because sadly, a lot of these nutrients, these basic nutrients and minerals are going to just be, you're just going to burn through them. There's just so much toxins. Our enzymes need them to detoxify and to just function. And without them, then we start to be deficient again. So a lot of supplements, yes, you do need to be long-term. Different things are going to be required at different amounts. Some things you can go to a maintenance on, but really you need to test to see, okay, what does your body need? And then there's some like bonus supplements if you wanted to try it to see if it made you feel better, like taking some chondroitin if you have an issue with your joints, you want to see if it works. It could take about like 2 to 3 months for it to do anything. But yeah, definitely we want to test to see, okay, does your body actually need this?
Thank you for saying that, because it is so important. And, I know so many people who just spend thousands and thousands of dollars throughout the year on all these supplements. And some of the, without knowing what you need, one, you're spending a lot of money. And two, as you mentioned something earlier, you could be doing more harm than good.
Right. Yeah, you definitely can. And since I've started incorporating genetics into the program, which is really big, you can really see when a supplement is not right for you. And right now for example, there's big hype and talk about methyl donors. So MTHFR, everybody's heard of, and everybody thinks they have it. Well, if you don't test and see if you actually have it, you can really start to overmethylate. And there's some people whose brains really do not like methyl donors, like my own brain. And there was a time where I used to take a lot of methyl donors and I was an anxious basket case with thankfully a lot of mindset training that it was like I was jittery and always anxious, but I was still mentally calm. My body was anxious, my brain was calmer. But without that mindset training, I would have probably been in a psych ward. So it's recognizing not everybody needs a lot of methyl donors, just something that simple, or something like milk thistle. Everybody's, oh, it's so good for the liver. But if you have a specific genetic mutation that's slowing down your detox pathway and you take milk thistle, it's going to slow it down even further and you're turning off your phase 1 detox. So it's so important to run the labs and see, okay, not only what does my body need, but what form do I need it in? Do I need a methyl donor, or do I need something like, for example, instead of methyl B12, maybe I need hydroxy B12, and that's the right form for me.
There's more chemistry in this than we ever think.
Huge amount of science. Yes,
huge amount of science.
Tying the science into healing.
And I appreciate that because I live with a transplant surgeon and immunologist who has a huge research lab. So we talk labs, we talk numbers, we talk science all the time. And I always want, the question is like, where's the data? Yeah. And like when you're doing your tests, there's your data.
There's your data. Oh, I've run thousands and thousands of labs over the years and compiled so much of my own data because you see, okay, this is how this supplement affects this many people. And it's really amazing when you correlate their labs along with their genetics. And it's very cool.
I do want to talk a little bit about the genetics in a minute, but I want to get to something you said earlier about food and how our food really is not as nutritious as it used to be. So what's the culprit? Is it that we're eating a lot of junk food, that we're eating a lot of processed food? I know the answers to these questions, but I'm asking you as the
no, it's multifactorial. One, our soil is not what it used to be. We're not meant to mass farm the way that we farm, and we're meant to cross crop and put different crops together and change over our soil and allow it time to remineralize. And we don't do that anymore. It's just mass farming, pull everything up, replant everything, and nothing is measuring up nutrient wise than what it was 100 years ago. So that's a really big one. And then we have to look at what's in the food now. We have pesticides, and now when you're eating processed foods, there's a lot of different chemicals on that. So that's going to reduce all of your nutrients as your body tries to detoxify that. And then we're also going to be running into just what we're eating, especially when, say, we try to eat healthier and we go to more plant-based diets. Well, we've lost the ability to really break that down. Plants have a lot of oxalates in them. And if you've been on antibiotics, most of us have been on multiple antibiotics, we lose the ability to break down the oxalates. And then the oxalates become anti-nutrients. They actually bind to the nutrients in food and pull it from your body. And that's not a good thing. So we've lost this ability to use plants, which we think is full of phytonutrients and nutrients. And now they're not anymore for us. So we've also stopped eating organ meats for the most part. Most people have. There's a big push towards it. So organ meats are one of our most nutrient dense foods. What else did we do? We pasteurized our milk. So we just destroyed it. It's now dead. There's nothing of value in it. And it actually, the way the cows are raised when you're eating conventional dairy, they're going to be full of different toxins and chemicals and hormones and pus and all these gross things. And so we've lost that nutrient superhouse, where a lot of us now are moving to go back to raw dairy, which is a superfood. So there is a movement back, especially when you're consuming raw dairy from grass-fed cows that are, well kept and well cared for, and they're not going through a lot of trauma. It makes a really, really big difference.
I can imagine that would be really difficult to find, though.
It was for a while, and
yeah.
I'm a Canadian, and it was definitely difficult to find raw dairy, but it's there. It's there. There's this whole hidden underground dairy industry of people who just want real food. So it's there. It exists. It exists in every single country. I have clients all over the world, and we can almost always find raw dairy. Here in the United States, it's very easy. You can actually order it online, and it's shipped to your door. But most places,
you can order anything online.
You can order anything online, right? It's going to say not fit for human consumption, but that's how it goes. A lot of states, it's legal. You can actually, in California, go to the store and buy raw dairy.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're definitely California. It's almost like a different world there. They just see things so differently and so much more open-minded.
Yeah, and you can actually buy it here too in Florida. The only difference in Florida, it will be at your health food stores and everything like that, but it will say not fit for human consumption. But in some states, it's totally legal, and you can get it. So
I'm going to check that out.
And there's so many different farms now who they're practicing really good animal husbandry. They understand the need to go back to a species appropriate diet. They're getting rid of their GMO feed. They're not spraying their hay. So we're really reducing our chemical levels again. And they're starting to have a more of a permaculture where we're not just single cropping. So we're seeing the nutrients come back. We're seeing a big movement towards it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good thing, because I think it is, there's always, the pendulum swings.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes one way and it will come back. And usually most people, we'll find it someplace in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we were like, oh, wow, look at this bread that can stay on the shelf for like a whole week. Let's get more of this. And we just thought it was really cool. And we didn't realize how bad it is for us to eat these packaged foods. And now we're figuring it out. And now there's a movement towards people waking up. They realize, wow, we don't have to feel like this, and we don't have to eat this stuff, and starting to move towards it. It's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. And it's so exciting to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there are more people who are listening who are saying, I want to feel better. I want to eat better. And like you said, you go to the store and you think you're buying organic veggies and fruits and, grass-fed beef. But if the nutrients aren't there, you're doing what you think you're doing well for yourself, yet you're falling short.
Right. And that's where we test and we see how can we use science for us, right? Instead of it just being against us with all these chemicals, we can use the science, and we want to reduce as much chemicals as we can. We don't need to live in a bubble, but we want to, eat clean and have a balance, and then really supplement with what our body is saying. Hey, it's not enough. We need more.
I love it. I think it's so exciting to really hear that we can take charge of our own body and our own health.
We totally can. Yeah. We just have to take our power back. We have to stop giving it away, and recognize too that it doesn't have to be done overnight. Like the changes that I've made were done over many years. And when I'm working with clients, or, when people are reading my book, it's meant to be done gradually. You're not going to go out and change every single product in your household to something that's, as low chemical as possible overnight, and then change your water, and then change all your meat, and change all it. Like, it's a process. It is a process.
And I think that one of the things too is it's a process for a reason too. Your body can only take so much at a time, but also so can your wallet.
So can your wallet, and so can you just the amount of overwhelm. It can be a lot. And when I have clients, especially if they're coming on like a standard American diet and they're eating regular food, I have them start with one meal. Just pick breakfast and move that to a whole food meal, and do that for a month or two. And that's good. That's enough. And then once that seems really, really normal and easy, tackle lunch or dinner, whichever one is easier for you. And you still allow yourself to go out. If you're doing breakfast and dinner, then lunch is whatever lunch is going to be. So you're just taking off that burden, because if all of a sudden you're like, I need to create this whole food meal at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and change all, if you're having snacks, change all my snacks to whole food, then you're going to go through massive withdrawals. You're going to be cranky. You're going to feel terrible, and you're not going to stick to it. Right. You're just not going to be a very fun person to be around. So tackle one thing at a time, and just be gentle with yourself along the process.
I love it. I think what the first step is to recognize where you are, and then what? So first step, recognize.
Yeah, recognize that there are some changes you want to make, and have a vision of where you want to be. Like, we have this vision, and we've been doing this for a long time. And now we have this vision that we want to really have a lot of food freedom. We want to have the ability to raise our own animals and grow our own foods. And we want to have the property to do it. So we have the vision. And by focusing on the vision that we want, the steps just fall together. And that's really, to me, key to manifesting anything, is just focus on the vision and not so much on the how. And you'll find that every step of the way will just present in front of you. And if you're brave enough to take the step, then you will get to that vision pretty quickly. And that's really tuning into what you said, that soul message. The way is there. It's known to you. You just have to really get focused on where you want to be.
So speaking of that vision, you have created this program and the Integrative Healing Academy. Talk to us about that for a little bit.
So Heal Yourself, it came out last year. And I remember, and it's so much of these soul callings. Right before I was set to launch the book and it was going to be available for people to buy, I was driving to the barn, which I do on a daily basis. And all of a sudden, the picture came to me that I needed to teach people how to do this. And I remember saying to this voice in my head, like the same voice that had me sit down and write this book. And I'm like, I'm just wait a little bit. I'm not ready. I need a break. I just wrote this book. I published this book. It's been almost year and a half process. I just want to relax a little bit. And well, when that happens, the universe is like, no, you're not relaxing. So last January, it was becoming very urgent to sit down and create this course, because I can only work with so many people a year. And there's a lot of practitioners out there, but so many are just doing the piecemeal work. They're focusing just on hormones, or they're focusing on adrenals, or they're focusing on candida. And there's such a huge need for this holistic program where we work on the body as a whole, where we work on mindset, where we work on, spiritual growth. We need to put everything together. We need to run the labs. And the book is great. It shows you how to analyze your labs a little bit, but I recognize the need to have a very in-depth program so that people can learn to analyze the labs and the different patterns and really have the understanding that I do. So I created the Integrative Healing Academy to basically hand my knowledge, everything that I've accumulated, to other practitioners, to other people, that you don't have to have a science background or anything. I broke it down in a way that anybody can understand, so that now when we create this army of healers that are teaching this holistic program to people and guiding people on their healing journey and running these labs for people and helping them move through the program, that we're going to make such a huge impact, much more than what one person can do. And it's going to be amazing. So we launched in June. We have over 30 students right now. We have a big enrollment coming up at the beginning of 2023. And so we're really excited to have our practitioners go out there, and they're almost like mini me's. They have all that knowledge. And what's amazing, when I got started, I had to do this all myself, and it took me years to accumulate this knowledge. So they're starting with all of the knowledge, and I'm just I'm so excited to watch them grow because of the foundation that they have, that they're starting with. And as new information comes, they're going to far exceed anything that I can create. So I'm excited for that.
I'm so excited. This is just really exciting, because when you think of like all of the struggle and everything that you went through to get to this point, and then to be able to share it
Yeah.
What an incredible impact on those people and on the people that they can impact. And, we know that multiplier effect is just really going to, in a word, wake people up to
exactly
better health, better healing, and better living.
Better living. Yeah. And really finding that place of optimal health is just, it's amazing, because it is a perspective change. If I would have went back and when I first started getting diagnosed with these things and see myself now, I wouldn't have believed it. Like, I would not have believed it's possible. But through my journey, when people read in my book everything that I went through, it's like, wow, if she can heal from these things, then I can heal as well.
I love it. So before we close, I'll have you let everyone know how they can find you. Where are you? Where can we find you?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, you can actually get a free paperback copy of my book, Heal Yourself, at www.gethealyourself.com. For the most part, I'm mostly active on Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Motivated to Heal Naturally. And you can find my coaching at sgintegrativehealing.com. Right now, I'm working with limited clients. I'm taking on more complex cases and using those in the Integrative Healing Academy, because we have an advanced IHA that is included with the course, but that's where I present really advanced case studies and help just my practitioners gain more and more knowledge. So I am taking on some clients, but for the most part, my practitioners are taking on clients. So you can always get in touch with me and I will put you in touch with a practitioner. And then if you are interested in helping us make an impact on the world, and if you have a passion, you just need the passion. You have a passion for helping people, you can learn this. You don't have to have a science background. Then check out the integrativehealingacademy.com.
Fabulous. Sandie, thank you so much for this information. I'm so excited to know you and to have you now in my circle. And I look forward to, many more conversations like these where we can dive a little bit deeper into specific circumstances that people may be struggling with, so we can help them on a deeper level. So thank you so much.
That would be awesome. Thank you for having me.
Listeners, thank you so much for being with us here for another Wonder Series Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find us on Spotify, Google, all the places that you find your podcast. You can also watch us on YouTube. And if you enjoy what you are listening to, what we share with you here on the Wonder Series, please go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. We'd really appreciate it. Till next week, everyone, I leave you with this: start wondering and start living. Have a great day, everyone.